informatica, how you have to prepare. See, interview preparation is pretty simple. Like you just have to start preparing on different modules in informatica. So first of all, I mean, like what are all are the things that you have to focus on for preparing. So basically, when they ask you about the interview, right? So we'll focus on informatica. So we focused first on SQL, and then little bit of PLSQL we did, and then the Unix we parked it aside for now, and then now let's get into the informatica real-time thing itself. See, first when you start about it, so first you need to explain about your experience. Okay, so what it is, when you have started your career, and what and all of the technologies that you know, and currently which organization you are working with, all those things. So basically, you can just start saying that I have 6 years of total experience. We have total experience and predominantly onto the which technologies, so that you can mention. Okay, so probably that you have experience onto Informatica Power Center, let's say 86, 91, and 951. I mean 9 versions. Basically, you can just keep it as 9.x versions. And when you start saying about it, so predominantly you can say also stressfully, like I have worked with mostly with Oracle databases. And then you can start with what is your current client and whom you are working with, and what is your payroll company, and all those. Currently, what is the current client that you can mention. Then you can go to the current project. Okay, so once you mention all these details, you need to go for it. So when you start with the current project, basically first you need to what you need to explain is about the source system. What is a source system that you are receiving the data from? Let's say your project. So as I see, like if your project is reading the data from SQL Server or an Oracle database or a flat files, so these things. So you can say that we receive the data from different databases like SQL Server, Oracle, and flat file, and this is our source system. So probably you can explain what is your target, whether you are loading the data into a data mart or a data warehouse. So you know, right? So what is the difference between a data mart and the data warehouse? So explain them, like whether you are integrating the data into a data mart or a data warehouse, and which database it is. So let's say you can mostly concentrate it as Oracle because you are most experienced with Oracle database only, right? So so when you're explaining the project architecture, so what you tell them is, let's say we have a data, one data source which is there in SQL Server, and we have one data source which is there in Oracle, and we have flat files. So this you can explain them. So what kind of data is there in what database? So they might ask you. So since one has kept an insurance project, another has a different project, right? So just make sure that you can say that as all the insurance related claim, I mean, sorry, not all the health insurance claims and everything we used to receive from SQL Server database. So this is where our live data was there, and remaining the other type of insurance things like personal insurance and all those data, probably personal and auto insurance data we used to receive from the other source, as well as we used to have a flat file. So if they go in details, you explain it, okay, what kind of data was there in which database and all. So probably otherwise you can just say that as, okay, we had 3 data sources for us. One is in SQL Server, another is in Oracle, and we used to also receive the data from flat files from the different third-party vendors. And our project architecture involves integration of data from these third-party or all the data sources into the staging area. First, we will extract all the incremental data. So this word, you can say that, okay, we'll extract the change data capture value or a delta or an incremental data. Incremental data we'll extract first, and then we will load it into the staging area. So staging area is a kind of a temporary area where we extract and then keep the data into. Okay, so if they ask you about the different kind of a tables, you should be ready to give some names. Basically, they'll ask you sometimes, okay, not always. So you can probably Yes.
Karthik, do we need to tell them that we did some data validations based on the business rules or something, or we just
No. When you are moving to the
need
staging area, you just say them we are not performing much of the validations. Whatever is there in the OLTP system, we are just loading into the staging area. So it's just a kind of a raw data. You can just tell that.
Oh, okay.
So it's just a raw data. Whatever is there, we are just loading into this staging area.
Yeah.
So when they ask you about what kind of tables were there, you can just explain product and customer are common things. Okay. And you can also say that as STG underscore region and let's say STG underscore claims, something like this. So just remember, since it is an insurance, I'm just giving you the inputs about STG claims and all those things. Okay, now this is just which tool is used to load the data from your OLTP to this one. This is your informatica.
Informatica part.
Okay, Power Center 9.1 or 9.5.1 version we have used and then integrated to staging area. From staging area, so we have actually defined the, you can explain either you have loaded the data completely into the data warehouse for all the subject areas like a marketing and the sales, all these things, or you can just explain them. No, we have actually the different data marts which are defined for different subject areas, and we have loaded the data into this. So you can explain them probably since your project is of 1 year. So we have developed first data mart in the first phase, second data mart in the second phase, third data mart in the third phase, like that. Okay. So you can say that, okay, for in the first phase, we have built a sales data mart for a complete sales subject area, and this is for sales. And in the second phase, we have actually developed for a marketing team to promote all the insurance activities and all those things. So you can just tell that as a marketing and all. So probably just keep it to sales and marketing so that you can answer the questions also. If anything is there related to what kind of reporting is done or how the customer is actually using the product and all those things. So just say that, okay, we have built two data marts in the current project. So one is for a sales, another is for a marketing. Now the next question here, how you are going to move the data. Here you can tell that, okay, we applied the business rule, whatever the business validations that is required, and we aggregated the data as per the reporting requirements, and we loaded the data into this one. So they will ask you like what reporting tool is being used in your project since you're loading the data into data mart, like what reporting tool that you have used. So you can just mention that as whichever the tool that you're comfortable with and whichever the tool that you know. So let's say if you're comfortable with, let's say you did say that, okay, we are using OBIE or a Cognos. You can give your own tool name, but if they ask you whether do you have an experience into OBIE or a Cognos, you can tell them like there is a separate dedicated team which was there, and whenever there is a requirement, we used to interact with them, and then we used to load the required data for the reporting. But you can say that I don't have much experience. So they might ask you like which version of OBIE is being used. So you can say that OBIE 11G is being used, and there was a separate team which was handling it. All right. So this is how you can, this is how you can explain about the project. Okay. So when they ask you like what kind of reporting that is being done by your, what kind of reporting that is being done by your customer. So then you can probably say that as they were actually generating the reports based on the total sales across the region or total sales by year or region, and so they used to find out the profitable customers. They'll not go much in detail, but anyway, I'm just giving you about how you have to explain. So you can just give it as like profitable customers they used to derive, and we used to also build the aggregate tables for calculating the revenues, and they also wanted to understand the campaign related information like how many responses or which campaign is better. This is for a marketing, which campaign is better and which campaign is bad, and all those things they used to determine, and we used to define the table. So they might ask you again whether do you use a star schema or a snowflake schema in your this one. So you can just say some of the fact table or some some of the fact tables are using a star schema and some fact tables are using a snowflake schema. You know, right? What is the difference between a star and a snowflake?
Yeah.
Yeah. So star is something that where you have all the dimensions in the denormalized structure, and
Okay.
where snowflake is something that which some of the dimensions will be in the normalized structure. So that's, so you can just say that as, okay, there are few things which is we defined it as a star, and remaining all the other things we defined it as a few of them we defined it as a snowflake, and some, all of them we defined it as a star schema. So this is how you have to explain about the architecture of the project. All right. So any questions before we go to the responsibilities?
Karthik, in my resume, the first project was like, it says that there are 3 different layers as per the requirements. Initially, it was kept in that, and then data was kept in those layers, and then data mart is created. So I need to tell that, like, if I'm explaining about my project, that those 3 layers, whatever the acquisition layer, confirm layer, and the base layer, those are all the staging areas. Like, it says that the flat files are coming from different hospitals, and based on the requirements, they're converted into 3 layers.
Okay.
Did you see that? Can you please go through that? And
Yeah, I opened it. You guys don't see my screen?
We can able to see it.
Yeah, that's what I shared my screen.
Yeah, I can see now. Yeah.
Okay, now this is what it is, right? So flat files coming from the different hospitals, and then the 3 layers were acquisition, confirm, and then the base layer.
After base layer, data must create as per department specification, and eventually use this data to create reports for the management.
Okay. Do you have any idea, like, what is like a base layer, acquisition, and the confirm? No, is it?
No, no.
I'm not sure. I mean, this terminology doesn't sounds like a.
Maybe I should say that all the patient information, based on that, the region wise, we can divide the patient like that.
Confirm layer. Can you put it in any other different terminology? I mean, I don't understand from this terminology. What do you mean by acquisition layer? Acquisition layer is something like a landing layer, landing terminology, or then you confirming it's maybe by the different validations and all those things. And what about the base layer again?
I don't know this.
Probably you can just change this terminology. I mean, if you are not sure about it, then definitely you have to keep it. So what you can transform it as, the project was to use to handle the data, flat files coming from the different hospitals, and transform it as per the requirements, and kept it into the staging area. You can just say that.
Yeah.
Kept it into the staging area, and from staging area we built a data mart, created as per the department specification, and eventually it is used for a report decision making. That you can say that.
Yeah.
Since if you start saying that why did you maintain 3 layers, why can't you do it in a single layer, all those questions. So what is the need of preparing this much? I mean, what is the need of keeping this in the 3 phases? All those questions they'll ask. Probably just in a simple words, just keep it into the one single staging area. That's it. That is good to do. Any other questions?
If there is any difference between the informatica versions, Karthik, we need to mention.
I think we need to prepare a document for it. Basically, there are not much features when it comes to 8.6 and 9.1. There is a lot of difference, and from 9.1 to 9.5.1 there are small differences which have been introduced. Okay, you both have kept the same project, is it? Okay. Health insurance, some of the health insurance coverage in your health insurance claim policy.
I think this is Jaya's.
Yeah, that's it. Even yours is Blue Cross, right? No, it's not Blue Cross.
No, Kaiser Permanente.
Okay, okay. I think it's a pharma.
Yeah.
A pharma related.
Hospital.
Okay, okay. Okay, that's fine. Whatever it is, I mean, you just know the terminology when you're explaining. That's it, so that you'll not be having tough. So that's how we mentioned the architecture of the project, and then that's how.
Karthik, what if they ask?
Yes, good.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead, go ahead.
What if they ask the, what is the tough situation you faced and how do you solve it?
Yeah, complex mapping, troubleshooting.
Your project.
Yeah, all those
Complex
things.
mappings, yeah.
Yes. We'll just go by one. So I was just talking about your architecture.
Okay.
Once you're good with this, then probably the next thing is about they'll ask you what are the roles and responsibilities that you perform. So you can probably say that since you have 6 years of experience, so you can just say that I was actually working as an informatica consultant, or you can just say that as I was working as an informatica developer. Informatica developer for this, I mean, pass this one. So what are the responsibilities that you perform? So when they say that, you can start saying that understanding the requirements is a first. Understanding the requirements from the business, right? So what kind of reports that they want to generate, and based on that you go and define separate tables and everything. So understanding the requirements, and the next one is creating the high level design document, creating the HLD high level design document and the low level design document. So you know, right, like what does a HLD contains and what does the LLD contains and all those. So basically the HLD will contain all the high level data flow, how the data flows from source to the target, and we'll also mention the different types of tables that you're going to create, different types of mappings that you're going to create and all those things. I mean, not mappings, tables. Then in the LLD, you're going to mention what mappings you're going to create, how many mappings and how many workflows, how many sessions, when are you going to schedule them. Every information will be present in the LLD. So in case if you do not have, I think I forwarded you this HLD and LLD. In case if you do not have, tomorrow I'm going to send you the sample HLD and LLD, how it looks like and how you have to prepare. Okay. So this is one of the roles and responsibility. Then you can just say that as creating the data model, creating the data model for creating the data model such as star schema or a snowflake schema. So you should be good enough to answer, like a SCD type 1, how many tables are there, SCD type 2, how many tables are there, and all those things. So you can just say that as most of the tables are, I mean, most of the tables we defined it as a star, and there are only few tables which we defined it as a snowflake. So if they ask you like which table you defined it as a snowflake, so probably probably you can just say that as one of the region information, or since because they wanted to, since the business was expanded across the different regions, so denormalizing that entity has become a difficult for a reporting. So that's why we divided it as country and then the state, or you can something like this. I mean, country and state. So or country, state, and city. So this was a snowflake schema that we have created for one of the requirements that you can say that. So once you create the data model, so they obviously the next question, in case if they interrupt you to ask and what tool you have used, so you can just tell that as Erwin. I'll tell you how the Erwin works and all those things. Okay. Now the next one is that once the design is completed, so the next one is about preparing the database scripts. So how do you, I mean, you know, right? So how the database scripts are prepared, all those things. Yeah. So we covered it. I mean, it's like all the DDL statements, creating all the tables. In case if you have any alters, create all those things, you need to add it in this thing and then pass it on to DBA. So in case if you want to create a synonyms to access the tables across, so you can just say that, okay, just say that as a preparing database scripts, okay.
Okay.
So the next one, which we are going to do is about the, once you prepare the database scripts, it's the next one is about the developing the mappings, sessions, and then the workflows. So how it is there, and also you can just say that as coordinated with QA for QA teams for fixing the defects.
Okay.
QA teams, QA team is nothing but, you'll have a separate testing team. Okay, so they will test your programs and then they raise the defects. So to coordinated with the QA teams to fix the defects. And what kind of tool, if they ask you like what is a reporting tool, I mean not sorry, defect tracking tool that you have used, so you can probably say that as a HP Quality Center is something that which we have used, or now currently the new version has come, that is ALM. Okay, so you can just still say that as ALM stands for Application Lifecycle Management.
Lifecycle Management.
Okay, so this you can call it as an HP Quality Center we have used. So what kind of defects that you have received in your code? So they might ask you that kind of a question in extension to that. So because of the continuous data loads, there were duplicate validation was failed, or column level data validation was failing. Column data validation, that was, I mean, some of the data was not matching with the source. So these kind of defects we have received. So once the next one is about the migration of the code. You know about the migration, right? So how the migration happens, it's like once you develop the everything, I mean once the develop, you actually migrate the code from one environment to other environment. So you know that there will be three environments like a dev, QA, and then the production. So once we complete the development, we migrate the code to the QA, and from QA we migrate the code to the production after the testing and everything. So if they ask you like were you involved in the migration, so if you're comfortable, you can say that how the migration happens, I mean how the migration happens and all. You remember that, right? So exporting and importing method, folder copy, all these things. Do you guys remember? No? Okay.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, like in the last few classes you.
Yeah, last few classes. In case if you
yeah, all the mappings.
Yes, yes. In case if you're still not sure, I would recommend you to visit the channel. So we have a public video. Okay. So you can actually go here and then type. We do have a video for this thing. Okay. So let's say if I go for this one and go to the videos, so you'll find that how to Informatica code migration, this one. Okay, so you can just go through this completely, like I have explained about all the other things, like how it can be used and all those.
Okay.
So this just for a brush up in case if you have, and we actually migrate the code. So you can even say that as okay, so there was a separate admin team and we used to send the migration template. So you guys remember, like I shared a migration template with you, like wherein it will contain all the details about mappings which has to be migrated, or it will contain the details about workflows and everything. So there was a Informatica Labs PDF itself. There was something called as a Informatica migration template. So this kind of a template will prepare and then pass it on to your admins. So you can even say that comfortably if you are good. We ourselves we used to migrate the code just by using export and import method. So this is a migration template. Or if you say that as okay, you can just put it in a way that there was a separate admin team and they used to take care of it. Okay, and unit testing of the code also you should mention. So you remember, right, like how to do the unit testing, like a duplicate validation, and the duplicate validation as well as a column level data validation and all those things that you can mention. All right. So this is how you need to prepare for each and everything. When you explain about, maybe we might have taken some 10 minutes to talk about it, but you can just put it in a some top 10 bullet points, something like that. Okay. So this is how when you start with your responsibilities and everything, you need to do that. Next, they'll come to know, I mean, they'll start all the technical questions. So like how we are going to do and everything. So probably we'll try to complex mapping thing. We'll discuss about that later. Okay.
Okay.
Complex mapping thing, what you have to explain. It is a definite questions or that one is the complex mapping. Another is that how do you tune your program. Okay.
Okay.
Tuning of informatica power center program. So these things they'll ask. We'll discuss about these two things little later. Okay. Once we cover some real-time concepts, we can discuss this little later. Okay. So now the next thing is about the first we'll talk about data warehousing concepts. So you guys have prepared yourself for a data warehousing concepts and all those things. I mean, did you prepare or we'll just go over a high level interview questions on that? It's just a theory only. It's just that high level interview question. So sometimes okay, you guys are prepared or we'll keep it in the tomorrow's class for this question and answer questions.
I'm not that much prepared, Karthik. Maybe
Okay.
I want them today.
Okay, probably you can just now. So I've just covered roles and responsibilities for today, and change your, your resumes as well. And tomorrow we'll just discuss the high-level questions about the data warehousing and dimension modeling. So we'll just have a mark round kind of a thing. I'll just try to ask some questions and data warehousing and complete data modeling. Okay.
Data warehousing and data modeling. Okay.
So these two things we will discuss about it, and first 10 minutes we'll spend these questions, and then I'll straight away start with your transformations. Okay. So each and every transformations, you have that, right? That document which Babu has shared.
Yeah.
So you guys have started going through that.
Yeah.
Okay. So you first complete this data warehousing and data modeling, then we'll go over one by one transformation and implement a complex mappings, real-time scenarios, all those things. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Did you guys get a chance to go through that PL SQL videos, all those things? Or did you start doing it?
I finished the PL SQL videos, but Anand gave us another assignment on PL SQL, so I was doing that. I couldn't.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, as long as you guys are good, as long as your guys are good, that is fine.
And only the dynamic SQL
is important, yes. For data warehousing, you need to concentrate only on the dynamic SQL, because we are going to write a lot of procedures for dropping the indexes, analyzing the tables, as well as creating the indexes. All these things will be more useful in the real time. Okay, so that's what. So now, if you are good with this, so tomorrow we'll straight away start with see, now I just want to understand your comfort as well. So before we proceed further, do you want me to go again one by one on the each transformation, or we'll just talk about some 15 to 20 some real-time scenarios? I mean, each. Okay. Yes.
Transformations are fine.
Fine, Karthik. Yeah.
But no, yeah, I understood everything, and
okay. So what we'll do is we'll list down some 20 real-time scenarios and two to three complex mappings. We'll try to implement all those things.
Yeah, maybe you just ask
Question.
the transformations and.
Yeah. First, tomorrow we'll do one thing.
Yeah,
tomorrow we'll do one thing, and first we'll concentrate on data warehousing and data modeling, and at the same time I'll also go over all the transformations, all the transformation things.
Okay.
And once we are good on that, then we'll start with the real-time scenarios.